Today's stories include Pokemon Go has been acquired by Scopely, the new skate already has microtransactions, and Netflix games sees a major loss. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is LaCroix Poppy, Tim fucking Geddes.
God, the cold open, full of downer stories. You know what I mean?
Just back-to-back news days for me and you. Just banger after banger. You know what I mean? We got so much to talk about.
God.
We're going to have such lively discussion.
Here's the thing, though. You saying March 12th did make me think that we are less than a month away from the Switch 2.
Oh, from the review. Yeah, from the showcase, from the direct.
That's wild.
That's exciting.
In about 3 weeks, we're going to know it all. What weird decisions are going to be made?
That's the thing is, like, what will we know?
At what point do I start getting really scared?
Because, like, is it going to be a thing of, like, you know, we come out of that showcase being like, man, they did it again? Or is it going to be one of those things where we're like, oh, God, what's happening? Why are they doing it like this?
That's interesting. I mean, because remember, that's what it was like with the Switch 1.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited for the announcement commercial thing. And then when they did the showcase, everyone was kind of like, I'm a little more trepidatious of this. They had some really big wins overall, but when their biggest win was a Breath of the Wild trailer, which was essentially the launch trailer for a game that we had been anticipating for years at that point for the Wii U. You know?
Yeah.
It hit different.
Now, I'll ask the question. That might be a cursed question.
Uh-oh.
Is there a way they can fuck this up?
There's many ways they can fuck
What are
it
the
up.
ways they can fuck this up?
I mean, I feel like if they were to come out and not actually announce a couple major first-party Nintendo games for this year, I think that would be a very big problem. Like, I think if we don't have a idea of a roadmap through 2025 after April's event, I think that is when I'm going to be like, fuck. Bad. I'm getting bad vibes.
Like, what kind of roadmap? Because we all expect Mario Kart. That feels like such a given. Like, there's no way they don't launch a Mario Kart.
Well, that's my thing is I'm not convinced they launch with Mario Kart.
But it's going to be this year.
This year,
for sure.
Yes.
So let's say Mario.
I don't think they show Mario Kart in the initial reveal trailer of the Switch 2 and not launch with Mario Kart.
I don't think they'd show a 3D Mario in this original Switch reveal trailer and not launch with it, but they didn't. And I was shocked watching that Nintendo Direct when we saw Mario Odyssey and it was not at all around launch.
The only difference is that they also showed Zelda in that initial thing, right? Whereas Mario Kart was the only thing showed in this initial reveal for the Switch 2.
I think you can get away with it in the first, like, 3 months. Having it in that Switch reveal, I think in that Switch 2 reveal, you got to have it in, like, a good pace of Switch is out. All right, cool. You don't have to wait that long before you're playing Mario Kart. But either way, right? They're going to talk about Mario Kart. Probably, most likely, I'm going to say 95% is coming out this year. Let's say, I don't want to invoke it but 3D Mario.
Yeah.
That's got to happen, right?
I think
this year.
I think so.
So let's say those two are somewhat locks, which is going to fuck my fantasy critic, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And let's say we get like one ARMS-ish new IP.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Because there's no way we don't get at least those.
I don't think so. No, I'm hopeful. I'm saying they could fuck this up. I don't think they're going to. And I just want this clear because I don't want any I told you so motherfuckers coming at me if Mario Kart ends up being a launch game. I'm not saying it's not going to be a launch game. I'm just saying everybody that's so sure it's going to be a launch game, you might be disappointed. I think Mario Kart is real and I think it's coming this year.
I can't believe you're saying Mario Kart is fake, Tim.
Wow. It's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
I don't know. I'm gonna regret these words.
Mario Kart was also in that original reveal, and it wasn't even a launch title for the Switch.
When did Mario
Kart 8 Deluxe?
Oh yeah,
it was like a few weeks after, right?
Yeah, and that's how I frame it. Yeah, that's actually exactly what I'm talking about with the Switch 2 reveal. Where even if it's not launch day, I expect it in the first couple months. Like, if it's not launch day, then a couple weeks out, right? If say for some reason they're like, oh, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the launch day title. Cool. Next month, Mario Kart. I don't think that's bad marketing, or like I don't think that's a bad idea.
No. In fact, I think that's where my predictions were.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go as far as to say I don't think they can fuck this up.
Yeah,
because
God bless.
Here's the thing: the things that you would fuck up, they've already confirmed that they have right. Backwards compatibility. They said backwards compatibility is a thing here.
Yeah.
That's like
but
the
it's
main
backwards enhancement, because that's what we really want.
thing. Listen, I'll take what I can get. It's Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
All right?
Mhm.
I don't think they know what the word enhancement means.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they understand what the fucking up-res is. I'll just take the game being playable. I'm okay with that. So, like,
I mean, that's a big ask.
but they said it's going to happen. Backwards compatibility, boom. Mario Kart, boom. At least one other big first-party game, boom. I know I'm getting Metroid Prime 4.
Which is a boom.
I'm getting a Pokemon ZA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
I don't know that they're going to show Pokemon ZA.
Yeah, but I know I'm going to get it.
You're going to get it.
Yeah, I'm going to get it
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo,
Yeah, I'm with you.
you
I'm
can do no
feeling,
wrong
I'm feeling good,
right now.
but I just remember feeling good the night before that event. I remember feeling great the night before that event.
Yeah. Somebody says, what if it launches in fall? Listen, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, that would be a bummer, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility as well.
Could be a bummer because I'm expecting summer. Enough about that.
You rhymed.
Let's talk about today's news. Because remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, and now Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you, Monday, it's the annual team up between The Mix and Kind of Funny. Come see more than 60 amazing indie games when we kick off Spring Games Showcase at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Kind of Funny Games, followed by an all-day live stream of devs rotating in and out to show off their games. It's going to be a blast, and you can catch it on our Twitch and YouTube channels. Remember, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get the WWE 2K25 review. And then following that, it's a screencast. It's going to be Daredevil. We're going to be talking about the new episode. And then after that is the stream, and it's going to be more of that there Pokemon Nicklocke. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Greg Way, which is something about something. Here's the thing. I'm going to hold Greg's feet to the flame here.
Yeah.
Because he changed the doc template. Because he is specifically trying to be more intentional about telling you what the Greg ways are. And so Greg got to DM me the Greg way so I can put him in the doc.
Do it, Greg.
Or just put it in the doc yourself. But you're going to get a Greg way today. And it's going to be good.
Damn it, Greg.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Carl Jacobs, and Omega Buster. Today we're brought to you by Monster Hunter Now, Built Rewards, and Stash. But we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Pokemon Go developer Niantic is to sell its gaming business to Saudi group. This is Jess Weatherbed at The Verge. Niantic Labs has announced that it's selling its video game division to Saudi Arabia-owned mobile developer Scopely for $3.5 billion after struggling to replicate the success of Pokemon Go across its other AR games. The newly inked agreement includes Niantic's Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, and Pikmin Bloom mobile gaming titles. Quote, Niantic games have always been a bridge to connect people and inspire exploration, and I am confident they will continue to do both as part of Scopely, said Niantic CEO John Hank. Quote, I firmly believe this partnership is great for our players and is the best way to ensure our games have the long-term support and investment needed to be forever games that will endure for future generations, end quote. The acquisition is subject to regulatory approval and other closing conditions. Should the deal go through, it'll also bring Niantic's social companion apps for Pokemon Go, Campfire, and Wayfarer under Scopely ownership. Scopely says it'll gain Niantic's entire team of exceptional game makers and category-leading games. However, the Peridot and Ingress AR gaming titles, is it Peridot or Peridot? I feel like I've been through this before.
I think it's Peridot, but
Is it Peridot?
I don't know.
Kindoffunny.com says you're wrong. The latter of which, talking about Ingress, is also supported by the Wayfarer mapping app, will remain under the ownership and development of Niantic
Interesting.
Spatial. Now, you might be asking, what is Niantic Spatial? I'm going to pull directly from the Niantic website where they talk about what's going on today. And they say, our second announcement is that we are spinning off our pioneering geospatial AI business into a new company, Niantic Spatial Inc., enabling it to accelerate and scale even more rapidly. Led by John Hank, Niantic Spatial will be funded with $250 million of capital, including $200 million from Niantic's balance sheet and a $50 million investment from Scopely. All of Niantic's original investors will also continue to be shareholders of Niantic Spatial. It's a little spin-off company from Niantic. Handle the more
which makes sense for how they've been doing things and the announcements they made a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever that was. Well, looking at this, obviously it's still in the regulatory approval and all that stuff. You got to assume this is going to go through.
Yeah.
Also a wild amount of money. They were talking about $3.5 billion, almost as much as Star Wars cost for Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
It makes
Pokemon
so much
Go.
money.
I mean, when you're talking about the biggest IPs in the world, right? Like, I mean, it is different when Disney is literally buying Star Wars.
Yeah.
But you're getting a big piece of IP with Pokemon Go. Pokemon being one of the biggest IPs in the world.
And I can say that from experience. My wallet has been, I can't say stolen from, because I willingly have given it to them time and time again. And it's very unfortunate because, like, here's the thing with this. The amount of acquisitions and consolidations we've been seeing, specifically with the Saudi Arabia-owned groups, what comes from that, how we've seen that already affect other games and other movies and TV shows and just everything out there when it comes to media and entertainment. And it hasn't necessarily been great. And Scopely, we've heard a lot of things about in terms of Monopoly Go. I personally don't have experience with it, but I know enough people, and I've heard very conflicting things. Some people are like, hey, I get to play. Yes, there's a lot of things you can do to monetize, but you don't need to do them. And then I hear other people being like, Scopely are the absolute worst. They are what people talk about when we're talking about how bad microtransactions can be in mobile games. And I just got to be honest, as a Pokemon Go player, I can't imagine it getting worse. And that scares me because something tells me it is going to.
Do you think so? Because that was going to be my first question as the Pokemon Go correspondent here. Kind of funny, Tim. Like, can Pokemon go further in terms of what it does for microtransactions? Yes. What do you expect coming out of this? I know it's a tough thing because obviously Scopely is a known thing as far as Monopoly Go, but I'm very fascinated by, does a transition to under Scopely, I guess, magnify issues that might already be underlying?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure. Yeah, and Pokemon Go has, I think, always tried to, at the very least, come up with monetization levers that fit the game. But I think over the years, they kind of lost sight of it a bit. And I think that during the pandemic, there was a very, very big moment where the game could have died. Right?
Yeah.
Like, people can't go outside. They can't Pokemon Go, you know? And because of that, they allowed people to remote raid, which is kind of like the biggest exciting gameplay thing of Pokemon Go. It's how you get all the legendaries and stuff for the most part. And allowing people to remote raid as opposed to having to go out and raid was a huge thing, obviously. And it created a surge again for Pokemon Go, even during pandemic times. And then once we kind of got out of that, little by little, they like monetized it more and more and more, and then limited it. And it just turned into a thing of just like, oh, wow, like, you gave everyone a taste of what this should be like, and it still was monetized. But then you took that away and over monetized it even more. And so now it kind of feels like, in a lot of ways, we're paying more for even less, which is not good. But then that becomes the standard, and then you just are stuck in this cycle. So I think that you can apply that logic to many different levers that this game has to get you to entice you to want to pay for stuff. Luckily, I'm almost at the end of this journey for the grind, at least. But who knows? They can always add some bullshit, and any day now they're going to be like, we're going to level 60, baby. And I'll be like, I'm going to have to really think about it.
I was going to say, what will it take to make Tim Geddes go, I can't do this anymore, I quit?
I mean, for me, it really comes down to is there gameplay that I'm interested in? Is there something here that I want to do? I want to catch them all. So far, I've had a lot of fun catching them all. It's cost me a lot of money, but to say, is it worth it or not, is a silly thing, just because, like, at the end of the day, no, it is not worth it. But at the same time, I've enjoyed it, and I find value in it. So if they can continue that, then sure. But again, that's all just the personal my wallet side of this conversation. Like, looking at this overall, having Scopely have even more of the biggest mobile game brands, like that creates a monopoly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow, this guy, he's on it.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of which, right? Like, I think a conversation to be had about Niantic is, wow, you had Pokemon Go, but then you had these shots that you were taking that weren't going in the basket, right? Like, you look at Pikmin Bloom, Monster Hunter Now, like, and granted, I'm not the expert necessarily on like how well Monster Hunter Now is doing. I could probably call in Greg Miller to talk about it more.
Doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But like, I feel like post Pokemon Go, it's tough when you start at the top. You know what I mean? Of like, all right,
Of
we
IP.
had of IP.
Yeah.
We had Pokemon Go. Where do we? No pun intended. Pun intended. Where do we go from here? Like, what is the next step after Pokemon Go? All right, let's try it with. I forget if Niantic was the ones. Again, I'm so not in this world, but they did Harry Potter, right? Wasn't there a Harry Potter?
There
Go
was.
game?
I don't remember if it was Niantic, but there was
Chat.
Harry Potter. There was Ghostbusters. There was
Niantic.
NBA.
Oh yeah, there was the NBA thing.
Oh,
The NBA
the
thing never
NBA.
came out, I think, or it got canceled
There was
early.
a Marvel one that you announced that got canceled.
Yeah. See, and that would have been the Marvel thing. Even though I think it's a weird idea because Pokemon is an IP that is so fit for what Pokemon Go is. Go around and catch things. Go around and collect things. That is all Pokemon. That's the core ethos of Pokemon is collecting. Cool. Pokemon Go is such a slam dunk for that. But yeah, is the NBA a slam dunk for that? Intended pun? Yeah. Is Marvel a slam dunk for that? Like I could see how you could maneuver it in there, but I don't think anything was gonna. It's like
Well, and that's why Monster Hunter I think is finding success because it makes sense from a gameplay perspective.
exactly. But I wonder if there was a different route, a different timeline in which Niantic was able to find the flow and actually find success with the right IPs or with different ideas. Like I don't know what the alternative would have been for Niantic if not what we're seeing here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just not doing this and just being okay with the
Just the
amount
Pokemon
of
Go.
money that's coming in. Yeah, that is the answer, but people don't like that answer. They want more. They need more. Bless. But yeah, no, I think that's kind of it. I think that the problem is, and we see this a lot in pretty much everything that we do. If you have one giant cash cow and it sets a standard for how much money can be made from something, if you make another project, you expect it's going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And even if you budget it smaller and have different considerations for what you're expecting from it, I still think at the end of the day, it's easy to look at it and be like, well, sure, we only spent 200 and we're making $1 million, but here we only spent 5 million, but we're making $1 billion. And it's like, what's the point of even investing in this?
You look at Pikmin Bloom and you sigh a little bit.
Yeah, just a little, you know? But I don't know, man. This is news that kind of came fast. I feel like last week there was rumblings of this, and where there's smokes, everybody. Sometimes there's fires.
There's fires.
And here we are now. The many Reddits that I'm a part of this morning are in complete meltdown mode. Most people are Monopoly Go players as well. And I'm like, well, there's some signs here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Broken people. We're here for each other, okay? We'll
Gotta
make
be
it
there
through
for each
this,
other.
I hope.
Man, microtransactions. What a crazy thing.
What a crazy thing. Like,
Story number 2.
Capitalism.
EA Skate gets microtransactions before its release date. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. EA has added microtransactions to Skate during its latest alpha test and ahead of a release date announcement. As reported by Insider Gaming, developer Full Circle added microtransactions to the ongoing closed alpha test of EA's free-to-play Skate Revival. You can spend real-world money on a virtual currency called Sandvan Bucks, which in turn is used to buy cosmetic items.
Stop. What the fuck? This story's happening. I feel something over there. I look over and it's just Snowbike Mike like this. Like, yeah.
Mike's dreams are coming true. It sounds like Full Circle wants to test Skate's microtransaction purchase system, as it states it wants players to have a positive experience when purchasing items from the Skate store. Quote, your feedback will be greatly appreciated in providing a great experience at early access launch, the message continues. According to Insider Gaming, Full Circle has warned testers that progress will be fully reset before Skate launches into early access, and any purchases you make will be converted back into Sandvan Bucks and made available again at the start of early access. Skate's early access launch is set for 2025.
Oof.
Sick, man. Everything I've heard about this game just like sounds awesome.
Was this game ever going to come out without microtransactions, though? I know this is a new level.
Literally by design, like that's what this was going to be. They told us that, hey, this is going to be a free-to-play.
Free-to-play. It's Skate, so you got to have the brands in there.
100%. Like, we knew it, but like it being in the early, like the game's not even out yet version, and sure, I'm seeing the chat saying they're giving refunds and all that. It's like, all right, cool.
That's my thing is, if I'm going to take the positive angle on this, I do like the messaging of, hey, we want people to have a positive experience when they're purchasing items from the Skate store. So that's why we're testing this.
Yeah.
Like, we want to make sure that everything is fairly priced and like the microtransaction experience isn't getting in the way of the fun.
Yep.
I like that communication. Fingers crossed that it actually works out that way, right? Like, this is one of those things that I think at first blush you read and it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And honestly, the thing I like the least about this story is the fact that they're called Sandvan Bucks.
Yeah.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
I know, and this is such bullshit, man. They're getting right in the way of our announcement that I was going to make later in the week, but I guess I'll make it now. We are introducing Funny Bucks. Funny money, as they say.
Yeah.
Either way, you can get it. The translation is 5 real-world dollars for 1 funny money that you can then use to go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed the meeting on this one. I've been off.
Woo!
I was out on Friday, so I didn't realize that we were
got
doing
crazy
this.
Here. Thank you.
What a value, Tim.
Yeah.
That's such a great
I know,
value.
man.
Mike has already bought
Ninja Turtles in
200
Fortnite,
funny
though.
money.
You know?
Man. I love that you're still thinking about them. Oh, wait, no. What was the one that you learned a couple years ago? Okay, was it the Turtles?
It was the Turtles.
I loved seeing you in real time learn about that, of what they're doing over there.
Bro, oh, God.
They added
and they're
Shohei
about to do it
Ohtani,
here
the
with their
baseball
fucking
player.
their Sandy dollars.
Sand Van Bucks. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not mad at this. I am very curious about what this is going to look like in the final game, mainly for what cosmetics are we going to get, and then also like what's the pricing there. I don't even know what cosmetics I want for a skate game. It's the weird thing where when I think about the brands I expect, I'm like, they're not gonna charge me for some like skate brands, right? Like it's got to be some like crossover content.
Did you see the island recently when we were playing it out there? Did you see what they were doing? Their virtual currency of like how much it costs to buy a pair of Jordans, and mind you, not a pair of Jordans that anybody is aware of or knows of, not the classics. No. The ones that you would find at like a flea market, you're like, I don't think these are real.
Listen, you're not going to get me to pay $10 on 100 Sand Van Bucks so I can buy an Aeropostale shirt. Like, give me Spider-Man. like, give me fucking, I want to be a Pikachu doing kickflips and shit.
Okay.
Grinding.
I have the game for you. It's called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, not Skates.
You can do both. You know what I mean? They're different. They're different games.
Yeah.
Different vibes.
Aeropostale?
That's
what you fucking went with?
to.
You fucking dork.
What's a skate brand, Bear?
Vans?
Skate brand, Aeropostale. Like I thought you were being funny.
No, I was being funny, but
Okay.
also like Aeropostale is the closest thing that I can think of. Well,
Vans. Like these skate brands.
Vans did come to mind, but I was like, was Vans a skate
I
brand?
used to work there. That's where I met my wife. I'm so bewildered. I can't even fucking speak right now.
You're
Bless.
married?
Yeah. I also wear hats. Did you know that about me?
You wear hats?
Yeah.
Somebody said next he was going to say Hollister. Listen, it was between Hollister and Aeropostale.
Dude,
What was
that's
gonna come out my
insane.
mouth. It was between Hollister and
Classic
Aeropostale.
skate brand, Hollister.
We got a super chat from Ricardo Gonzalez who writes in and says, "Funny money, finally a virtual currency I can get behind."
Someone had to do it.
This is one from the last news story I want to get to, but before I get there, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad free using real money. But guess what? If you don't have that, here's a word from our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by Built. Y'all already know I'm a big points and rewards guy, but here's a PSA for anyone who rents. If you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality where you pay your rent through Built. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use towards flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even your next rent payment. Let me break it down for you. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So, if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/kindafunny. That's JOINBILT.com/kindafunny. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/kindafunny to start earning points on your rent payments today. This podcast is brought to you in part by Stash. Saving and investing can feel impossible, but with Stash, it's not just a reality, it's easy. Stash isn't just an investing app. It's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with dependable financial strategies to help you reach your goals faster. They'll provide you with personalized advice on what to invest in based on your goals, or if you just want to sit back and watch your money go to work, you can opt into their award-winning expert-managed portfolio that picks stocks for you. Stash has helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to get.stash.com/kindafunny to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/kindafunny. Paid non-client endorsement, not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk. Offer is subject to T&Cs.
And we're back. I want to pull in a super chat. Here we go.
I can't explain to you the feeling. Like, it's the opposite of chills.
Yeah.
It starts in the wrong place. It ends in the wrong place.
It's like, it's just a frustration, I think.
Yeah, frustration's a great word.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
So we're having such a good
Slow
time.
walk. How wet am I going to get? What smells am I going to feel?
Yeah. I've heard this makes a lot of people get wet.
I was just in your car. Your lights were still on.
Oh my, how much paper did you waste?
But is that all I did in there? You are not safe.
It's just... He's walking out. For audio listeners, Greg came in, of course. He's Mr. Stars in the Bank. That's his entrance music, and he came through and handed him a bunch of papers they just read off just now.
Yeah. Yeah. It was ironically a helpful message. I did need to lock my car, but I don't feel safe.
I don't feel like we have enough paper in here to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know? Because half the time I want to print something out of that printer, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, no ink. Oh, we got to replace the paper. So just to be wasting it on this. Also,
you are not safe with a period after every single word.
I think today was where I crossed the threshold of regret of making this a thing. You know?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Stars that putting the Stars of the Bank
Finally.
out there is a thing.
I've been thinking that for a while, Bless. I didn't want to say anything to you.
I know
'cause
you've
I respect
been
you
there.
as a host.
I know you've been there, but I think today was the tipping point for me. All right. I want to bring in a super chat from Chucky Kappa, who writes in and says, how do you think the Pokemon Company factors in here? This is, again, referring to story number 1, talking about Niantic being bought by Scopely. Do you think they have some say over what the new owners will be able to do / not do? I kind of like this question of, you're talking about the microtransactions. You're talking about how far the Pokemon Company, or not Pokemon Company, sorry, Niantic with Pokemon Go, kind of how it already has gone and how much further that probably could go with Scopely, makers of Monopoly Go, or the publishers. Do you think the Pokemon Company would stop that from happening?
No.
Fair enough.
Here's the thing. I think that they probably could have some say. I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think that that's a good thing for anybody. I don't think that the Pokemon Company is the company that were like, you know what? They were going to go too hard and try to take all of our money, but we're going to stop that.
You don't think the Pokemon Company cares about the quality of Pokemon? A Pokemon game?
That's crazy.
It's a Pokemon game. You think you think the Pokemon Company doesn't care about the quality of a Pokemon game?
Man.
You think they don't care about like a negative perception of Pokemon based on the experience of playing one of your most popular Pokemon games? Nah, man, that's not my Pokemon Company.
Not my
Pokemon Company cares about quality.
Like, can you imagine them putting out...
Say it with a straight face.
Like
my Pokemon Company cares.
The best thing about what you're saying, Bless, is they do that, and they don't just put out... They put out Scarlet and Violet. You know what I mean?
Technically, they put out 2 of those games.
They put out 2.
I've never heard it said exactly quite like that, and that's fucking funny. You're right. They put out Scarlet and they put out Violet. Fuck. That's so good.
Holy shit.
I mean, Thomas Pena writes in and says, give me my funny money. We might have to make this a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We might actually have to launch the funny
people.
bucks.
Can it have Kevin's face on it?
I think it has to.
Yeah, it kind of has to. And then Ian Aronoff writes in and says, please tell me you guys are going to do a reaction to the Stitch trailer. Is the Stitch trailer out? Is there a new one?
I think it must have dropped.
Because we haven't gotten a full trailer, right? It's just
no,
like
we just keep seeing
teasers.
him fucking walking around doing stuff.
Wait, no.
And I hate how much I don't hate it. You know what I mean?
What did I see Stitch in? Oh, you know what? I think because
It was
I
the Super Bowl
commercial. He crushed a sandcastle.
No, well, yes, but also I watched the Lion King live action Mufasa movie.
What'd you think?
It was fine. It was fine. But I think before that there was a trailer. It wasn't a trailer, but it was like a tease of Stitch.
Wait, you saw Mufasa in theaters?
Yes.
Oh shit.
That
I have a
changes my
choice.
perspective of you.
Oh, I'm a big Lion King guy. I love Lion King. And then also, I didn't see this, Barrett.
Yeah, this is the Super Bowl spot. That he had.
Yeah, I totally missed this one.
Honestly, like, I was really worried about them adapting Stitch into like CG, but so far it kind of works.
It kind of works.
It kind of works.
Look at this little fucker.
Well, here's the thing: they're doing the thing now where, like, if you remember the original Lilo and Stitch, like marketing, right? They would do the thing where they put Stitch in all the different Disney IPs, like a bit.
Yeah, and
so
they
before
did that
Lion
again
King, they
for
did
this.
that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, here's Stitch, but he's like in the Lion King world, which I love. I think that's fucking awesome.
In Kingdom Hearts, you could summon Stitch.
Cool.
I love Kingdom Hearts.
That's cool. I mean, if we do a Stitch reaction, would that get us claimed?
It's Disney.
We're rolling dice though. You know what I mean?
Okay, maybe let's
Because
not then.
Disney is usually pretty cool about us live reacting, but like what music is being played?
That's
in
the
this
that's the
trailer,
thing.
You know,
the roller coaster ride.
if this was if this was Universal, it'd be a no go. We'd be taken off air, and they would come in and kidnap Greg.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Oh, if they kidnap Greg, it's worth it. But
Yeah, I know.
outside of
You're
that, I
making
don't
me
want
think about
KFGD
this.
to go down on YouTube. Let's move on to story number 3. Netflix's first gaming boss exits following a 2024 leadership shift. This is Steven Totillo at GameFile. Mike Verdu, the executive who led Netflix's foray into gaming before changing roles at the company last year, is no longer at Netflix, a rep for the streaming giant confirmed to GameFile. Verdu joined Netflix in 2021 to launch its gaming offering. That effort included the release of dozens of new or ported mobile games for paying Netflix subscribers, as well as the creation of a formidable internal game development operation through the purchase and startup of several studios. While Netflix's gaming efforts are ongoing, Verdu's involvement had been waning. Last year, Netflix pivoted, or focused, depending on who you asked. In July, the company brought in former Epic, EA, and Ubisoft exec Elaine Tascan to helm the gaming division. Verdu was not immediately out when his successor arrived. 4 months ago, he announced he had taken on a new role as VP of Generative AI for Games at Netflix. It is unclear what has become of that role. Verdu did not return a request.
Became redundant. The AI replaced him.
They found an AI to do his job for him. Damn, that sucks. Verdu did not return a request for comment by press time. Since Descan took the reins, Netflix's gaming operation has seen major changes. Last fall, the company shut down Team Blue, the studio that was developing the company's first AAA game. It has nixed several previously announced game releases, and Verdu's most senior colleague on the gaming team, Leanne Loom, who ran third-party relations with outside game makers, left for Annapurna in January. Netflix execs keep talking up their gaming plans in quarterly calls with investors, most recently teasing additional emphasis on couch co-op party games, as well as games that tie into Netflix shows. The company launched a Squid Game video game in December. That game skipped the Netflix subscriber requirement to allow all mobile users to play it. Netflix will have a presence next week at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco.
Who could have seen this coming?
What was the plan?
Who could have possibly seen Netflix games not working when they've promoted it really badly, when they were very ambitious with their plans? But what were their plans?
What were their plans?
Also, wait, they have Hades? They have access to some of the best games ever, but they're not letting people know that?
What? Why did you start a AAA studio?
Why?
And then shut it down. Like, what was the plan? I really need the Jason Schreier breakdown of like, hey, this was their dream, just for us to go, oh yeah, that dream was never gonna work. Because like, if Netflix were to go fully into gaming, right? If you were to fully do it, if you were to, okay, yeah, hey, AAA studio got all the way there, we're ready to launch. Are you launching it on Netflix? Are you launching it on all platforms and just having Netflix make them like? Where does the gaming dream fit into your structure as Netflix? Because my idea from the get-go, when Netflix games felt like it was ramping up a bit more, was for them to be aimed a bit more at family audiences. I think the Squid Game thing makes sense as a mobile game. I think Exploding Kittens, because they have an Exploding Kittens cartoon that's happening, and they developed a game for that. That makes sense because these are mobile games.
There's a suite of games for all the dumb reality shows on Netflix that like the people fucking love. Selling Sunset and all the Love is Blind and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, cool. That makes sense. Like
That
when
makes
you load up
sense.
Netflix, you see those things and I'm like, I ain't playing that shit. But like I can see people. Being
You
like,
can see
hey,
people, and
cool.
like I think back to my nephew who just loved playing games on Roku. Like you put any games on his Roku, and he's using the remote, and he's playing that shit. Like I think that would be a value add for so many families with children. That like, oh man, now they can get actually good games on Netflix and play that off the TV or play that on my phone. I think that is a good value add, but it feels like it just got unwieldy and like unwieldy in a way of not even understanding what your own vision is. Because I don't understand how a AAA studio was factoring into this. I don't understand necessarily like where the generative AI need is for this. It's a tech company, I get it. Like every tech company is using generative AI, but how was this going to make sense?
How? You know, like all this story, I feel like we're like one step away from like, who's going to replace it? Jade Raymond. That's going to fix everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this story just feels like we've heard it a million times over and over and over again. And it's just like, why are people expecting a different result? And that's just not going to happen. And again, we keep saying this, but like Netflix Games has an incredible lineup. Like they're offering, if you just have Netflix, you have access to Immortality and I keep going to Hades, but fucking Hades.
Yeah. Wasn't there
Oxenfree?
Oxenfree, that's the one I was trying to think of.
And a ton of other stuff. I remember last year at Summer Game Fest, I forgot what it was, but it was like a XCOM style like volleyball game, and it was super fun.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
So yeah, there's like a lot of stuff there, but it's like unless you really freaking know, you would never know how to access it, and it's still confusing to access it even if you do know.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that's all the case, like what's the point of even having it if you can't market it and people don't know it's going on? And then bigger than that, why would you have a AAA studio?
Why did you have a AAA studio? Did you ever play Far Cry?
The GTA games are there.
Yeah. Did you ever play Far Cry 3?
Yes. Not fully through, but yes.
Did you ever get to like the Voss scene where he's like talking about the definition of insanity and whatever, and he's like doing the same thing over and over again, and then he fucking like tries to kill you again, he pushes you down. Fucking cool. I love Voss so much. I love Far Cry 3.
Far Cry 3 on Netflix. That'll solve everything.
That's such like a it's crazy how far games have come, because I feel like if I see that same cutscene today, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Right? But like in 2011 or 2012, probably 2012, right? That shit hit different.
Yeah.
It was cool.
God, that reminds me of like the Twisted Metal.
Michael Mondo too, the actor who ended up being in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and Scorpion? Was he in Walking Dead?
Oh, he was Scorpion.
Oh, he was. Yeah, you're right.
Homecoming.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know.
You said something about remembering something.
Oh, Twisted Metal Black.
Oh, yes.
Back in like 2001 or 2, probably 2. It was like rated M, and it had all these fucking things. All the cutscenes, like they said, motherfucker, and I want to see you bleed, and all this stuff. I was like, holy shit, video games are crazy, man. And now it's like, all right, that is either corny as fuck, or we've seen it a million times, and it's like not even special at all anymore. Like, it's
great, but
funny.
it's I don't know. There's something to be said about your memory of those things, right? Like I was thinking about this. I forget what prompted this feeling of yesterday. I was just thinking about like old games that I love that like I couldn't. I like it'd be so tough to show that to like a young person nowadays who like wasn't there. Like you weren't there when I was gonna say Portal. I feel like I could still give somebody Portal.
Yeah,
and it'd be fucking.
I think I have a good example for you, and maybe I'm crazy here, but I had a similar feeling yesterday about this very game, NBA Street Volume 2.
No,
I'm sure it still holds up in a way where it's still a fun game or whatever, but you can't explain to somebody how special that game is.
You know what? Yeah, you're probably right. You're right. I think because like I play NBA Street Volume 2 a lot. Like even still, like probably a few times a year, I'll pick up my Steam Deck or my PlayStation 2. That's still I still own.
Plug it in with the red, white, and yellow.
Yeah, because I have a TV that works with that. And like that game is so fucking fun. But you're right that like I don't know if I can give that to somebody. Like give that to my 10-year-old nephew and have it resonate with him the way that it resonated with me when I was 10 years old. You know, something different.
Something different, man.
Story number 4. The team that is co-developing the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is opening a new studio. This is Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. One of the development teams behind the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is opening a new studio. Virtuous, a support studio that has worked previously with 2K, Bandai Namco, and most recently co-developed Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, is opening a branch in South Korea. Virtuous has said that the studio aims to serve as a hub for other South Korean developers to expand their reach across the world. Quote, gaming is deeply ingrained in Korean culture. As the world's 4th largest games market, South Korea has produced some of the world's biggest hits and remains a top gaming hub, said Sean Yoon, the general manager of the newly formed Virtuous Seoul. Quote, Establishing the physical studio in Seoul enables Virtuous to directly address the unique challenges faced by Korean studios, with the proximity facilitating closer co-development and collaboration. We look forward to helping bring more Korean games to the global stage and vice versa, unlocking new audiences for studios and new content for players alike. End quote. I love this for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
one,
hit me.
Because so far from, watching trailers, I'm so looking forward to Metal Gear Solid Delta.
And the previews, right? Remember VGC and a couple others got to actually play the game, and everyone's glowing about it. And to think back to 2015 when we got all the videos from the pachinko machines in Japan of seeing the Metal Gear Solid 3 like iconic moments like done in a very similar style to what we're seeing here, and just being like, but can you imagine if it was just an actual video game? And now it seems to be an actual video game, and it looks as good as it plays, it sounds like, and it's giving people, fans of Metal Gear Solid 3, what they want, and those are lofty expectations. So with all that, so far, shout out to Virtuous.
Yeah, and I think if this game comes out and is a success, which all signs point to it being so, I would expect they get more at bats like that of, oh, snap, all right, let's give you Metal Gear Solid 2. Let's give you, I don't know, let's just give you more games.
Name all the Metal Gear Solids.
Name all the Metal Gear Solids. Let's
Metal
give
Gear
you
Solid 1.
4, yeah. Let's give you Metal Gear Solid 5, fuck it. But I think more at bats for the studio are inevitable with this game being a success, hopefully when it's a success, right? And so I think being able to expand out to accommodate for that is cool and awesome, and I want to see the studio be able to get more projects like this, and I think refine that skill. I love when studios have a specialized talent. Blue Point would be the other one I look to as like, oh man, you guys are the goats at making remakes and remasters and stuff.
Capcom,
yeah, like another one of like, man, you guys can remake the fuck out of a game, and it is so awesome to see. I think a studio like this find that and hopefully maybe hone that and take that further.
And they've been slowly building to stuff like this over the years. Like, they were the ones that worked on I remember the Return to Arkham collection.
That's right.
For PS4 and Xbox One. And I just love any excuses to be able to play those games on a modern console. But there were a lot of criticisms of those ports or remasters of what was changed from the originals. So to see them go from that to helping out with a game that looks fucking beautiful as a remake is very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the other reason I'm excited too is getting another studio opening in South Korea. Like, that's fucking awesome. We've seen games come from there in recent years, like big AAA stuff that makes waves that people are loving. I look towards something like Stellar Blade. I look toward, I believe Liza P was also Korean developed. And when you're looking at according to this article, right, a market that is as big as that is into video games, you have a lot of people that want to get into video game development, but the video game development scene is only just growing there in a bigger way. And so I think the more you can make studios in an area like that, the more you're going to capture really talented people that probably wouldn't have that opportunity otherwise. And so put game studios in places that have that demand, and those people are going to make fucking great games for you.
Absolutely.
Story number 5, Wild Blue was announced at the Humble Games Showcase. It's a bit of a different one.
It is.
Yeah.
Before we get into this real quick, I just want to say I'm very excited for this.
Yeah.
I saw the teaser video that they put out yesterday, or that they sent me yesterday. Barrett, I put the video, the YouTube link there. I actually want to watch. It's a minute-ish long, and I want to watch it. But read this first, and then we'll watch it.
And
it's not what you expect.
So the reason why I add this to the story is, one, I was thinking about this yesterday during the GAMESCAST of Greg going through his whole Steam wish list, and I'm like, man, we got to start highlighting upcoming games more, and I feel like I got to do a better job of putting in stories that are just cool ass shit, because it's always fun to check out new indie games or new games in general that are coming out. The words I have here I'm pulling from the Steam page to describe what this game is. Wild Blue is an exciting and modern take on the classic on-rail adventures of the 90s. Soar over oceans, desert ridges, and perilous caves, battling waves of enemies and pushing back the Baron's forces. With the help of allies, you'll fight to restore peace while experiencing the thrill of classic arcade flight combat. Easy-to-learn controls make Wild Blue accessible for newcomers and genre veterans alike. while the game's stunning visuals immerse you in a handcrafted anime-style universe. With its compelling gameplay loop, branching paths, and thrilling missions, every fight is an adventure. Now, if you hear those words, you're probably thinking, man, that sounds familiar.
Sounds foxy.
Sounds
Star
foxy.
Very, very, very inspired by Star Fox 64 specifically. It's a love letter to that game. I, of course, am obsessed with that idea. I feel like Star Fox is the most fumbled IP that Nintendo has access to. I think it'd be so simple for them to turn that shit around and turn Star Fox into a animated series, animated movie that like an IP that's bigger than just games and like to raise its quality bar across the scene. But there's been a couple of these more indie Star Fox style things. First Squadron is another one coming later this year for Steam and Switch. Definitely have my eyes on that. That one looks very cool. But this one, them specifically calling out Star Fox 64, I was like, okay, cool. Like I want to see what y'all have to offer here. And then I watched the teaser, and it was just there's no gameplay in the teaser, which I'm always a little surprised by. There's screenshots of the game though, and I'm like, okay, cool, this looks good. I'm excited for this. I want to watch this teaser with you though, because I like it.
All right, I love that. So Bear, can you bring up the teaser, the YouTube link that Tim put in there first?
All systems go. Keep your eyes open.
What the heck? Enemy on my tail!
Evasive maneuvers. Do a barrel.
We don't call them that here.
That's really good. I love that. Also, great logo.
Yep.
Great logo and great name. Wild Blue.
Wild Blue's sick.
Hi, I'm Giles Goddard, and I'm the only person that worked on Star Fox. And I'm making a new game that I'm making all by myself again.
Shut up,
Interesting.
Giles. Hi, I'm Mark Lentz from the Kyoto, Japan-based indie game studio Too High Labs. This is our studio behind me. Our team is hard at work on a great-ass new title called Wild Blue.
Great ass.
And frankly, I shouldn't have said great ass, but here we are. Humble, I hope you like that. Without a doubt, this is our biggest title today. We're really excited about it, and we think a lot of people out there will too. Head on over to Steam right now, hit that wish list button, tell your friends, and from all of us here at Chu High Labs, we want to wish you a Merry Chumas. It's not Christmas.
Chuhai loves. It is really fun.
I'll just put up middle fingers.
So,
That's really funny.
Like, hey, look, I'm here for it. I do think they should have had some gameplay.
yeah.
If they're gonna have all of that, but I like the vibes. Whoever this dude is, I fucks with it.
That's really fun. That's really funny. And yeah, I saw this posted on Twitter, and yeah, I went to the video, and I didn't even watch the video, honestly. I scrolled through it just to see if there's any gameplay, and I was like, oh, there's no gameplay. Let me just go directly to the Steam page. So I didn't see that, but there is gameplay that's out there. Baird, if you can pull up the Steam page, so we can give people like a little shot of how it looks, because it does look cool. I want to play this game. Yeah, so we got screenshots here. Oh, is it only screenshots? It might only be screenshots.
Yeah, I don't think there's any video. I was looking, I couldn't find video.
Yeah.
but
it looks fucking good.
yeah,
I want to play this.
I'm
shit.
super stoked for it, man. I mean, look, the thing for me, Star Fox it's a delicate thing because there's like a lot of factors that have to go into it to make it great. And I do think that voice acting and like well-written lines, I'm not saying like this is freaking Shakespeare, but it's like it either hits or it doesn't hit. And like hearing everything that they have in the beginning there, which was 90% just ripped off lines from Star Fox 64, it's like, okay, cool. Clearly they get that. Because I feel like a lot of the other Star Fox likes that I've played, D Davis in the chat brings up Exodiac is one inspired by Super Nintendo Star Fox on Steam. I love that, but I'm not really a fan of the Super Nintendo game compared to the N64 because of the voice acting and performances and more orchestral style to the music, and it feels more like Star Wars. Like it feels like you're playing a movie, and it feels like the entire thing's a set piece as opposed to an arcade game, you know? But anyways, this one's the one I'm most excited for.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Tim,
Wild Blue.
I hope Wild Blue comes out, and I hope it's a big success. But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
You go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items that you need to know about.
Story number 6, Wii News. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games for March 2025 have been announced. On Extra, you're getting UFC 5, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Captain Tsubasa: Rise of New Champions, Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy, Arcade Paradise, Bang on Balls Chronicles.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Chronicles. We need more.
You Suck at Parking, and then Siberia: The World Before. And then on Premium, you're getting Arcade Paradise VR, Armored Core Project Phantasma, and Armored Core Master of Arena. Palworld crossplay update launches late March. This is from Gamatsu. Capcom trademarked Dino Crisis on March 4th in Japan, which went public today.
This is a big deal.
Yeah?
Because last time they did this for Onimusha, the remastered Onimusha game was announced not too far later.
Okay.
All right.
And here we are years later. We're getting a new Onimusha.
All right. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I support you.
Yeah.
I support
We
you
already
in your
got a new
dreams.
Dino Crisis. It was called Exoprimal.
Very different.
It was very
Just
different.
because they have the dinos doesn't make the same.
There's dinos and guns, man. I don't know what more you could ask for.
What if we went to space? That was Dino Crisis 3.
I was going to say, that would be a crisis if we went to
That would
space.
be a
That would be a crisis. And then lastly, most important news, Hello Kitty Island Adventure sales top 500,000. Come on. Congratulations, Roger McCorney. I don't think he plays it, but like he cared about it. He supported it. And so there you go. And that is it for Wii News. We're gonna hop right back into super chats, of course. Right in with the super chat if you have a question or comment you want us to read on the show, and if we see it, we'll read it. Just like Dylan Hopkins did. He says, "Just wanted to say hey from I never know how to pronounce this one. Is it Newfoundland or Newfoundland?" Second one. So he says, "Hey from Newfoundland, Canada. Been watching for years. Have you guys played Dragon Quest 3 Remake? It's amazing. I'm greatly waiting for news on Dragon Quest 12."
No, but very big fan of the HD 2D games, and I hope they continue to do well and serve the audiences that they are. And one day, our time will come. One day, I will get my Final Fantasy VI for Chrono Trigger.
Oh my god, I hope we get that Chrono Trigger. But that game, Threads of Time though, that we learned
Dude,
about
Threads
yesterday.
of Time, man. I thought about it a lot yesterday.
Yeah, that really piqued my interest.
Yeah, like it looked cool. It looked like, all right, I get it. But then the moment that she jumped down into the future and like we saw like the transition and then it cut to the apocalypse and there's the giant like mech thing, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
This looks freaking incredible.
Yeah, I need this one.
It's crazy how much I love the 2D HD like art style that Octopath Traveler came through and kind of put on the map. But I've only played through all the way through Live Alive. Like Live Alive just had something different for me. And I think it is just like the tone of the writing is more humorous. It's more like my vibe, right? It reminds me of like an Earthbound or an Undertale or like something that is a bit more comedically driven. I think
it's
that's
also got like the different time eras and shit like that too.
It's just a really quirky, really interesting game, and I fuck with really interesting games.
Give me Chrono. Just do this for Chrono Trigger.
Just do
what
this
are we doing
for Chrono Trigger. That it's literally that.
It's that simple.
Yeah. We got another one.
So beautiful. I forgot how good this game was.
Yeah, this game's hot. This is definitely one I will pick up and try out.
Yep, me too.
CJ Splitzer writes in and says, after watching the Death Stranding 2 and MGS 3 trailer, do you think MGS need Kojima/Shinkawa to be Metal Gear?
It's a tough question there because I think the answer is yes. I think Metal Gear Solid 3, since it's already designed by Shinkawa and Kojima, that no. Like I think that like they're pulling this off. But if they were to make a new Metal Gear, I feel like not having them, it'd be different at the very least. I'm not saying it would be bad. They could do something new and cool, or they could do something that is in the spirit of and a great homage to what came before. We've seen that a million times where creators create something that, I think Top Gun Maverick's a fantastic example of, hey, Top Gun, classic. Everybody freaking loved it. But then there's a new one directed by somebody totally different, like story by someone totally different, and it's way better, but it doesn't take away the quality of how people feel about the first one.
Yeah. I think Blade Runner 2049 probably is like another good example of, hey, people can find their own interpretations of things and still make them as special, if not just as special, if not even better sometimes.
Yep.
With Metal Gear, I think, I don't know, it's a tough one because I think for a remake, I'm with you as far as like, hey, Shinkawa and Kojima already made the game, right? They're just remaking it with new assets. But I guess I tend to think of like Demon Souls as an example of, man, Blue Point knocked it out the park as far as bringing a game from 2009. I'm going to say 2009. Correct me if I'm wrong. And like bringing it forward, making it look great on the fidelity side. But then like if somebody wants to, if like a super fan of Souls, or if even Miyazaki himself wanted to critique them on the art direction or critique them on the vibe or like I totally understand where that comes from. But I feel like there's a space for either. You know what I mean? Like I look at MGS3 or MGS Delta, the remake, and I'm like, that has everything that I love from Metal Gear Solid 3, and it looks fucking incredible. So I'm sure I'm going to love it. But like, I don't know, is it gonna capture the tone perfectly? Is it going to, like, if Kojima was working on this game or if Yoji Shinkawa was working on this game, would certain things look different? Probably, but I don't know. I'm fine with playing this version of it, right? Like I think at certain points with these things, I have to be like, all right, this is the only way I'm gonna get this. There's no reality in which Kojima is coming back and remaking MGS3, and so like I'm gonna take what I can get, and I'm gonna love it, especially if it lives up to that standard of just give me a better looking game.
And the reality too is even if Kojima was involved, doesn't mean it's going to be better. Like I think, look at Twin Snakes. Kojima was involved with the remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I feel like the majority of people, not me, I'm a Twin Snakes sicko, but would say that the original was better than the remake because they overdid it and over Kojima'd it and added just too much shit that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like him backflipping personally.
Backflips are always cool, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Jurston7 writes in and says, Lilo's sister not thick, I'm not watching it.
But how will we know if we don't watch it? Are you assuming?
Oh, she'll be in the trailers. They gotta put it in the you can't false market.
Well, I'm just saying is he watching the trailer or not watching the trailer?
He's probably gonna watch the trailer. He's watching the trailer to see if Lilo's sister is
Okay,
thick.
that makes sense then.
Yeah. It's not avoiding the trailer, but like,
I thought he was talking about the
if
trailer.
she appears in the trailer, she's not thick. He's not watching
We're
the
gonna
movie.
watch the movie. I get that. People need to have conviction.
We need to move on from this conversation.
D. Davis writes in and says, X Zodiac is one inspired by, I think you already mentioned this one earlier, but yeah, inspired by the SNES Star Fox on Steam. And then Lucid Dream says, if Tim needs a Star Fox, play Chorus. It's good. You remember Chorus?
Yeah, Chorus is cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chorus with
Starlink's cool.
Is Chorus, does that have a V? Is that spelled with a V? We were really doing that a lot.
Why not?
From like 2019 to 2021, we loved replacing U's with V's.
Things you can't take back.
Now it's time. Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. We only have one from Impossibilium, who writes in and says, Newfoundler here. It is pronounced, Newfoundler here. It is pronounced, okay, I'm just going to read the thing. It is pronounced Newfoundland or Newfoundland. We got to figure out a better way to write these. Next time, if you have a thing like this, just call in with a voice note. All right, I'm going to reread this from the beginning. It's pronounced Newfoundland or Newfoundland, not Newfoundland or Newfoundland.
Okay, so the Lind and Lund is the problem.
Yes.
You got to keep the land.
You got to keep the land. In other words, speed up the middle, but pronounce land like you'd pronounce it on its own. So,
Land.
Newfoundland.
Yep.
Newfoundland.
Either. Nailed
Newfoundland. There we go. You learn a thing every day.
Every single day.
Every single day we learn a thing. All right. It was nice learning here with Tim. Tim, it was nice learning with you.
It was nice learning with you, Bless.
And it was nice talking about video game news with you. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free. Watch us record them live and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GAMESCAST next, and the Screencast after that, and the stream after that. But until next time, Game Daily, Newfoundlanders.
Newfoundlanders.
Funlanders.